Welcome to the Millionaires mini-series with your hosts Stephanie Keith and Stacy Failing, here to set you up with the most luxurious version of yourself. This podcast is filled with wealthy women vibes and a sneak peek into the millionaire's lifestyle. Whether you're inner millionaire's dreams of taking private jets to deserted islands or you prefer the lighter side of luxury, we have an opportunity for you that is priceless.
Come join us as we share with you all of our juicy money secrets, mindset hacks, and so much more. Money may not buy happiness, but it can provide you with an abundant life beyond your wildest dreams. So turn up the volume, adjust your crown, and get ready to embrace your inner millionaire-ass.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. So Stacy and I wanted to let you know that you can still get into the Mommy Millionaires program for 90% off. So we have all of the recordings from the Millionaires Mastermind if you wanted to join that, but you couldn't make the live calls. We have all of that in this course as a bundle for 90% off. So we'll put the link in the show notes and we hope to see you inside. And today we want to go over the 4 myths of manifestation. I feel like there's more than 4 myths, but these are like the big 4 that we could really dive into because they're probably things that you have bought into before that aren't actually true. And I think that a lot of people view manifestation as, magic or something. And so therefore it's fake or it's not real or it doesn't work. And that leads me to myth number 1, which is that it is some sort of like magical thing or dark magic or, something that has no substance to it. And Stacy, I love talking about the science behind manifestation. It's like something that just lights me up. I dive into that. We have a whole lesson on that in the Millionaires program. But there actually is a lot of science to back it up. So I think where the disconnect comes from is we look at regular physics and science. And from that standpoint, manifestation does sound like it's not real, like it's woo-woo or whatever. But when you get into the world of quantum physics, which is relatively new, I mean, it has only been around for a few decades, you start to see how our feelings, our thoughts create a vibrational frequency and how everything in this world is energy. Nothing is solid, nothing's matter. Everything is energy and everything responds to this vibration that we're putting out with our thoughts and our feelings. And so when you kind of get down to the quantum level or the smallest level, you see how things form and how we are actually co-creating our reality. And we are forming this energy into our world. And so it starts to make sense once you really dig into some different things. And for anyone out there listening, if you've never heard of the double slit experiment, after this podcast, go on YouTube and type in double slit experiment and just watch the video because it really is like one of those mind-bending videos that breaks down how everything is a probability and there's an infinite number of possibilities at any given moment. And the possibility that manifests into your reality is based on you. It's based on what you're putting out, what you're expecting to see. And, so much of our life and society and everything kind of sets us up to expect mediocre or to expect like negative things to happen or just that life has to be hard and stressful. And so it's no wonder we're in this constant loop of manifesting those things. But if you start to realize from a scientific standpoint that those thoughts and those feelings and those beliefs are emitting a energetic vibration and creating your reality, you really start to become more intentional with what you're thinking, what you're feeling, your perspective on things. And that's when everything shifts. It all starts with just becoming aware of it. So Stacy, do you want to talk about the next myth?
Yeah, I was going to just add a little bit because I know you love the science of manifesting and I love psychology. And so there's a whole lot with the physics and then the psychology with manifesting. And so it's so much more than just like this spiritual practice. And, it involves your thoughts and your beliefs and your emotions. And the cool thing that I love, though, about manifesting is that while it is very scientifical, it is also um, fun and magical. And we can add play and rituals and things like that go around with the moon cycles and the phases of that and then just the seasons. And so while it is scientific, you can add fun and play to it as well. And I think when you do both, when you can stand behind both, is when most of that manifesting energy really you could start to feel such a high vibration when you're in both of those. But yeah, the second thing is that I think we get so caught up in that, manifesting is instantaneous. And if we put it out there, it's going to come back to us that day or, within that week. And then it can really feel discouraging when it doesn't happen right away. And a lot of people stop believing in the power of manifesting because they're just not seeing those results right away. And the thing with manifesting is that it does take time. Some things can happen right away. I know you and I have both experienced each side of this. Where we put something out and like literally that day, my story about the Pink Panther being my sign. And then that night, there it was shown up on the TV. But then there's also things that have taken quite a bit of time. And I think a lot of that has to do with our energy, like we just talked about, and also paying attention, and asking the universe for signs to just keep you on track. So even though you might not think that things are happening, the universe is always working. And as long as you're continuing to just put that out in the universe will never bring you something that isn't meant for you in a specific time. And so if you believe in divine timing and just knowing that if you're not ready for something, the universe isn't going to deliver it until you are. And so there might be some things on your end that you can do to start speeding that up. And one of it is, your energetics. Um, and maybe there's some things that you have to go through. Maybe you have to clear some space for that new thing that you're wanting to come into your life, whether that is a limiting belief or if it could be just physical clutter in your house, things like that. So there are ways that can help you to get those results a lot faster, but just know that if it's not coming to you instantaneously, that it doesn't mean it's not working or that it's not on its way to you. Just check in, continue to do that work. There are so many different techniques that Steph and I have inside of the mommy method that we have on this podcast. Even we've got some tips for you. So you can always listen back to other episodes for ideas on that. But yeah, just trust the process and know that the universe is not working against you as long as you are having that energy and that focus and the fun. Don't forget the fun. But yeah, it doesn't have
The
to
fun
happen
is such
overnight.
a key component, right? It's like you've got to
Yeah.
have that fun aspect and dip into like that right hemisphere of the brain. But I hear people all the time that are like, oh, I didn't manifest, the thing that I wanted in the time that I wanted. So it just doesn't work and I'm going to give up. And my whole thing is like, well, the time is going to pass anyways. So why not keep visualizing your goal? Like, what's the worst that happens if you keep visualizing it? It's like you're going to go through time anyhow. So you might as well just like think positively and think about the things that you want. And I never ever date my manifestations because I feel like when you do that, you're like sending the message to the universe that you don't have it yet. Like it's apart from you. It's somewhere in the future. And so you end up manifesting that it is somewhere in the future and it's not right now. Where if you just start acting as if and embodying what you want now, that's when you collapse all these possibilities and you create your reality. So I think dating a manifestation, thinking that it has to happen within a certain time frame is really just going to fill you up with doubt and you're like shooting yourself in the foot. So I definitely don't recommend that. But another myth number 3 that we've probably all heard is that people think, okay, my thoughts become things, so I can just think about what I want and it's just going to magically appear and I don't have to take any action at all. And obviously that's not true, but the caveat to that, the thing that I really want you to understand is when you're manifesting, taking action, it becomes like natural. So it's almost like the opportunity falls right in your lap, but then it's up to you to act on that opportunity. So you quite literally could be thinking about what you want and sitting on the couch doing nothing, and the opportunity shows up. Like maybe you pull open your phone and boom, there's an opportunity. But if you don't take that next step, then that's on you. Like you have free will of whether or not you want to act on it. And that's where people get hung up because they start second guessing themselves and they start filling up with doubt and thinking, should I do this? Is this the right move? And they talk themselves out of it, right? But at the end of the day, like if you don't take the universe up on its offer of this opportunity, then you haven't done your part. So it's really just getting in the mindset of opening yourself up to different opportunities that are around you, and then having the confidence to just do it. Just take action in the moment when it feels right. Trust your intuition and just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last thing that we wanted to talk about today, and kind of goes with that, is that you have to be positive all the time. We think that we have to, constantly be in this happy state and nothing in life can possibly go wrong. We have to always just tune that out, and we can't ever have negative or low days. And that is so not true because that's unrealistic. And so the universe isn't going to work with you knowing that life has these things that happen to us. And so we can't realistically be positive all the time. So the way that you can help yourself when you are feeling at a lower vibration is do some of those things, that those strategies like the tapping and things that can help you work through those negative thoughts and feelings that you're having. One thing that gets me caught up sometimes is like the comparison of going on and like comparing where people are at and the things that they have versus the things that I want and stuff. You made such a good point about acting as if. And so rather than like comparing that, I will just I'll put myself in a situation where I can act as if, even though I don't have that yet. There are ways to shift that, and so that you can go from that negative energy to more positive, but knowing that you don't have to be positive all the time. You just have to start being more aware and intentional with what you are doing. So when you're having those days where you're feeling really good and you can take action, take advantage of those days, because it's definitely going to help move you forward a lot faster. But understand too that if you are having a harder day, that might be a sign from the universe or just your physical body saying that you need to rest, you need to take time, maybe just check in. This is a good time for you to kind of go through like your list of things, your goals, and just have a moment to check in with yourself and not necessarily having to pour in to this manifesting all the time. The other thing too is like the moon rituals that we do. And part of the month is just releasing. And so if you're feeling these negative emotions and these things that you want to let go of, that's a perfect time to write it down, to send it out to the universe and saying, I am just releasing this to you. I'm letting go, and I'm allowing that opportunity and space for more abundance in the things that I am asking for to come in. So there's definitely times throughout the month that you can project that negative energy into a positive situation, if that makes any sense. Steph, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's like that whole idea of what you resist persists. And it's like, I think that we get in this mindset that, okay, I can't be angry. I can't be sad. I can't feel negative in any way. And so we resist it. And the thing is, like any type of emotion really doesn't last that long. It's like under 2 minutes that it's actually going to last. And so if you just allow yourself to feel it, like fully feel it and express it, whether that's crying or punching a pillow or just like feeling, down for a few minutes, you're going to move through that energy. But it's when we try to cover it up and just put a smile on and act like everything's okay, that all we're doing is like burying it deep within us. And then that leads to like resentment and all these, long-term um feelings. And so it's like just experience it. We're human beings. Everyone has their good times and their bad times, and it's all just an experience. And just look at it as that. Like, don't judge it. Just let yourself feel what you're feeling. And if you do that, like it will pass. It's not going to, you're not going to be in this negative state forever. And then the other thing is just like, I think people think, okay, well, being, high vibe and positive means like I have to be like happy go lucky kind of thing. And that's really not it. Like the way that I look at it is, okay, do I spend the majority of my time feeling grateful for what I have or complaining about what I don't have? And I really think that's the difference. It's like you don't have to be happy go lucky, excited, smiling, jumping for joy, but are you grateful? Like, are you grateful for the things that you have right now in your life? Or are you constantly complaining about them? And just that one question, like take a look at that. And if you can tip the scale towards gratitude, it changes everything, and like that will put you in that state of receiving more. And so you don't have to be like super excited or happy or anything like that. It's just, not taking things for granted. It's truly being grateful for everything that you've been given up until this point. So I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. That is such a good point because how are you supposed to expect to receive if you're not grateful for what you already have? And, I always like to think about years ago, when you were thinking and wanting the things that you have today, and I think we take that for granted and so easy to do so. But I think a gratitude practice every single day to jumpstart that is definitely helpful. I'm glad you shared. So if
Yeah.
you are wanting more of this, and we dive in, like Steph said, into the science, but also everything that we talk about in the toolkit to help you really put manifesting to work for you inside of our Millionaire's Mommy Method. Everything is in the show notes for you. We've got a couple more exciting things coming our way, so just stay tuned to hear more on that. But until next time, we hope to see you inside of the Mommy Method.